think, right? Or maybe it's been picked like once or twice, but either way, it'll be interesting to see how they play it out here. Looks like it will be going mid, starts with the null talisman, or maybe even the safe lane, I guess, because Hanskin's kind of sticking around here too. But I kind of agree with the couch who sided with EG. I think their lineup is greedy in a good way. So you have the Tide Hunter, who's going to be able to get something out of his lane pretty much no matter what. It's very hard to kill the hero, and even if you don't have a great lane, you can still go back and kill jungle stacks and things like that. You have Enigma, who is going to be very hard to pressure, and I also feel like it's a greedier pick than an Enchantress. So Enchantress is a type of hero that wants to try to control the laning phase. You know, you want to try to dictate the tempo of the early game, and if you don't do it successfully, then Enigma just becomes better because he gets more out of the jungle. His teamfight presence is obviously going to be greater. So I think I agree with the couch who is siding with EG that their lineup is just a bit easier to use.
In terms of lanes as well, this mid lane, once again, Limp and Hanskin on the tiny eye that we saw do an incredible amount of work in game one. Should Limp have just as easy of a time farming up against the Quap as he did, of course, against the Ember? Or is it going to be a little bit more tricky?
Queen's a little bit tougher because the Wisp can't reliably trade against Queen. Basically going to be relying on the mana that you gain through Bottle of Hanskin to throw like tosses out, you know, harass, things like that, go for CS. But it should be pretty much impossible for this lane to kill Sumail unless he makes a glaring mistake, which I don't really see happening as he is mechanically a very good player when it comes to the laning stage. So all in all, I would think that given the way the lanes are kind of shaping up, this is what EG were expecting. This is kind of what they're okay with. But at the same time, I think Complexity are also okay with this because their Death Prophet is not going to be highly prioritized in the early game. And if for whatever reason EG start trying to gank, you always have the Enchantress to fall back on to help you try to control that early game.
Indeed, and as you said, the Death Prophet hit on that solo safe lane up against Universe's Tide. They talked about it on the panel. Death Prophet should have no trouble finding farm down here, and it's showing at the moment 6 for 1. But at the same time, University's getting something as well. I see Chessie just moving there with a Siphon, keeping the Tide Hunter at bay. But as you said, as long as this stays one-on-one, you expect the trades to continue to be even in terms of farming?
Well, EG will pull ahead because they have Enigma. Enigma farms faster than anyone. Like, this hero just destroys the jungle. It's not even close. So, that being said, EG has the greedier lineup. That's pretty much all we talk about all we mean when we refer to greed, is the fact that one team will be able to get more out of the early laning phase of the game, if it's static. And again, that all depends on what Z-Freak wants to do, if he wants to prioritize going for trying to pressure a lane. The problem is, can't really pressure mid, because you need a very specific creep to kill Sumail. And you're also going to need to toss back onto a tower if you want to kill him too. As pretty much the worst thing that's going to happen is what we just saw there. He's going to eat a combo, eat a couple of spirits, then he'll either have to bottle crow, or he'll have to go back to base. And then you can maybe kill top, but then you're also going to need a dust for that.
For at the moment, I mentioned it earlier, it's continuing to do this pretty much uninterrupted. We'll see. I was just heading over, but not going to go any closer here to the Enigma. At the same time, over on the side of the Radiant, we're seeing some lovely stacks being done here by Z-Freak, just trying to give Limp on the Tiny that edge that he did get in the first game. We saw a lot of stacking done by Complexity, so Limp got that kind of just that initial burst of goals, so he got the good timing on the blink and was able to be as effective as we saw him be in the mid-game fights.
I think it's going to be more of the same here too, because again, it's a hero that he's playing that's not necessarily going to have to be a hard position one. Now granted, in game one he had a standout performance, so he was just owning everything with the help of Hanskin. This game I think it's going to be more of the same. Just get the stacks, get the blink dagger going, try to initiate for your team. Sumail taking quite a bit of damage here. Going to be forced to bottle up, and this is also another game where there's a lot of good kill targets for this Tiny. Like, you have the Venge, you have the Queen, who typically doesn't build into too much health items, at least in the very early stages of the game. You know, maybe Sumail picks up like a casual casual point booster for Aghanims later. That's probably going to be one thing to look for, but the rest of the heroes aren't really that hard to combo down.
At the moment, everybody talked about Swindles on this Beastmaster. He's found himself level 4 at this point. RTZ, he's getting a good amount, but he's top of the board. A little bit better start for him than he had in game 1, but 23 for 6. He'll be happy with that. Do you imagine we'll see him go for the same kind of build? Does he need to prioritize the BKB as early as he did in game 1 this time around?
I don't know if BKB is really even that good. Yeah. Like, you have Roar, Spirit Siphon goes through BKB, Exorcism goes through BKB, Santa looking for a kill here, middle lane. Nice blink, okay. But yeah, I don't think BKB is very good at all, actually. The only thing that you're stopping really is Spirits and the stun toss from Tiny.
Still, bottom lane, what's going on here? We've got a bit of a walk around where Chessie's coming in close. And in terms of the skill build here, maxing out the Siphon, it's going to be great in terms of zoning out the Tide.
Yeah, it's a standard build. Even if you're 1v1 mid, this is what you do. Because you're more about the lane dominance now than you are even pushing out the wave just by spamming the Crypt Swarm. So this build is kind of what we've been seeing when Death Prophet was being picked quite a bit a week or two ago, maybe it was longer than that, but she had seen a little bit of play. People found out that you could gank her and then she kind of fell off. So putting her in the safe lane, I think, is a nice alternative way of doing it. Just saying, ganking the safe lane with the lineup that EG has is actually fairly difficult. Like, they can send the Enigma down, like Blitz was suggesting on the couch, but Enigma most of the time just wants to sit in the woods and farm. Like, this guy has got 44 CS at 5 minutes, and yes, of course, they are jungle creeps, so they don't necessarily give the same amount of farm as a lane, but Pair, he's level 6, Sumail's level 6. They're pretty much identical in terms of experience and net worth.
Now, this could be the rotation that Chessie might not expect. RTZ, now level 6, just TPs into the bottom lane. I was hoping to eat a creep here, but none in the camp at this point. Might try and just go at it anyway if Chessie comes a bit too far forward, but Chessie is actually going to start to back away here. And this could be potentially just time wasted for RTZ if he doesn't find a kill off the back of this. Really wants to try and make something happen with the fact that he's just hit that level 6, and he's just going to break the invis and just go for a couple of hits. It's not going to result in anything, and this is just going to be time out farming here for RTZ.
That was a really nice attempt because he knew the next creep wave would give Universe 6, and having Ravage plus the Clinks there would almost assuredly kill the Death Prophet.
And Stanley will tether across. Nice avalanche from Limp, holding back Fear and Sumail. The Sonic Wave coming through will just clip Hansken on the edge, and that's going to be your first spud there for the Quap.
Bottom
Only
lane.
just though.
Yeah, very dead Death Prophet.
And RTZ stuck around, and here's the combo you talked about, just setting up with the Ravage. Chessie trying to keep himself alive there with the Siphon. It's not going to be powerful enough, and a second kill on the board for EG, and RT's little adventure to the bottom lane does end up paying off.
That's a kind of gank that is a little bit hard to anticipate. Like, the first time he backed up, maybe he just assumed, since there was a fight going on towards the top river, that there was a low probability that there would be a Clinks kind of just sitting there and going for a kill on him. But during this time, Swindle did manage to hit level 6, so they're not pressuring his lane so much anymore. And PPD is also closing in on the same. He's going to have swap in the next creep wave or two. And I think they want to try to go for a dive here. PPD might need a teleport here.
He's going to try and TP, but Swindles, he's got the raw. He says, PPD, I'm taking you downtown, and he'll get the kill. There'll be a TP coming through from RTZ. Fear's rotating around as well, and Swindles looks like he will get punished here. Look at the Malefice down. RTZ with the right clicks is going to be more than enough to find that kill in return. So Swindles does pay for his sins, taking down PPD, but EG's there to back up their captain and get the revenge kill.
Yeah, it was a little bit of over-aggression. I think it's not too bad, though. Maybe at the end of the day, it's slightly favoring EG just because it was an off-lane position. They get the tower deny. Whereas a couple of people were given credit for the experience and goal of the kill itself. So EG is seeming pretty solid in this early game. And I think that, for the most part, Complexity's lineup is going to get a lot stronger once the Tiny has the blink, of course, and then once the IO has relocate. Very similar to game 1, where they kind of need that timing. And to be honest, the laning phase is fairly reminiscent of game 1. It's like EG, they're winning the lanes, they're doing everything they need to do, and then as soon as relocate came online and the blink came out from Limp, Complexity just flipped the game on its head. So we'll see if the same happens here.
Easy continue to sneak around here. He's going to look at Z-Freak. He's trying to go for this one. Untouchable seeming to be just enough to keep himself alive. He've got the heal and will pop the dust. He's going to catch Artur. The Spirit's flying through and Hansken chucked in. They're trying to chase down the Clinks. PPD is around. He hasn't got level 6 yet, so he's not going to have a swap to save Artur if they do get the catch out. Tossing forward the edge. Chessie's there as well, but the dust, it runs out. RTZ, lucky to get away there, was able to juke him out long enough, make him chase for the duration of the dust to wear off, and RTZ's going to be a lucky survivor.
I think they want to go back in. He can just eat a creep, and they can go back down. There's Ravage up in about 5 seconds.
Now let's see if Chessie expects this. Does he just assume that Artur would have backed off after that?
He is spooked.
And the drone's being made. In fact, Chessie, he's starting to run back. He's still wanting to get in position. He's got PPD there as well. Chessie could be in trouble if they catch him out with a stun. But at the same time, there is a smoke from Complexity, so they could try and turn this one around. They will lose Chessie here on the Death Prophet, but they might be able to find RTZ and PPD in return. Here comes the rotation. Swindle's moving in, looking for Artur. Artur, Simtail down to the south. They'll pop out the dust, but it doesn't quite catch RTZ. RTZ will be fine. PPD made it out to the east. So to lose Chessie down the Death Prophet and Complexity, send the whole team in, but they can't quite catch anyone out in return.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate smoke because not only did they waste it, but they lost a hero in the time that they smoked, so it was not as effective as they wanted it to be. But again, Limp is closing in on the Blink Dagger. Once he gets that, they're going to be able to team fight no problem. The one thing, though, that's kind of concerning is the fact that we haven't really even seen Exorcism be used one time. I think it's very common for teams to pick Death Prophet nowadays, especially considering at level 1, Exorcism is quite a bit better than it used to be. Like, it used to be like 3 or 4 spirits at one point without having any points into Witchcraft, but now it's up to 8, obviously, to supplement the fact that Witchcraft doesn't exist as a skill anymore. And it's still more, even with accounting for the Witchcraft, than it ever was. And I think you can just use that to push, but it doesn't seem like they want to try to group up this early. They're just prioritizing the level 6 on the Wisp and Blink before that.
Well, it's easy. He's following around here, getting the intel. And one thing we've got to mention is about the fact that Fear, he was getting a lot of space up top whilst that was all going down. It's 10 minutes in, he's got his mech done, nearly level 9 on the Enigma.
Yeah, he is mega farmed, actually. This is really a rough situation for Cole. I was talking about how it felt similar to the first game, but one of the big differences is EG don't have drastically inferior teamfight this game. Teamfight is actually extremely good.
Oh, swap onto Swindles into the magic missile. RTC is there with damage. They'll take down the Beastmaster Limb. Gets the Avalanche top. Oh, onto RTC, but the man comes through there to Ravage from Universe. Fear trying to move into position. They'll just focus down Limp there with the Eidolons. They'll get IO as well. There's Universe brings down the anchor onto the little ball. 3 dead on Complexity. And EG there just right on top of Complexity, just messing around in the mid lane.
I don't know, man. They just don't really seem to be on the same page right now. Last game, they were a well-oiled machine, and Z-Freak also going to be getting dove here. Middle lane, see you later.
That's a 4th one, and Chessie, the last one standing, trying to find a tier 2. Artur is going to hang around, chomps on Carty, and trying to get himself in position, but Chessie did get the Siphon off here. So easy. Oh, the courier as well. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Artur pays with his life. He does get the courier. That is Limp's Blink gone for 3 minutes. I mean, we can talk about whether that was worth it there from Arteezy Toozy.
Well, Blink for 3 minutes is a big deal, but middle lane.
Just Sonic waving the hell out of Swindles. Universe gets on the anchor smash. That might be enough to keep him alive. In fact, it looks like it is. Limp can't quite get the punches through. Sumail clears up the eye on the backlines as well. So everything is happening everywhere. People are dying, but Blink on the sideline for 2.5 minutes for this Tiny.
Yeah, it's really bad news for Complexity. Their Wisp is still not 6, getting into 13, 14 minute plus territory where you definitely want to try to be level 6 by that point. EG just seemed to have much better laning phase than Complexity, and I believe that the panelists also said that between game 1 and game 2. You just have mechanically skilled players who normally more out of their lane than what Complexity do, and when Complexity don't have the superior teamfight composition, it doesn't really feel like they can really do anything against what EG have put together here. So Enigma tide opening so far from EG seems to be working out very well for them.
EG just going to go for Roche. It doesn't look like Complexity going to be able to do anything to contest this. They should be able to take this one down at a pretty reasonable rate. That is going to be the Aegis going the way of EG, almost certainly. Something else for the next fight that they're going to have ready to go. As you said, EG certainly turning up a lot more here in Game 2 than they did in Game 1. 10 for 2 at this point. About a 6k net worth lead. Nothing too insane, but 13 minutes in. Still one that Complexity are going to be worried about. A few little things as well that's putting them on the back burners. As you said, the slow level 6 is coming out, some of the key heroes. Limp without his Blink, putting Colin in quite a rocky position at the moment.
Well, there are a couple of nice things for Complexity. The fact that Chessie's going to be level 11 soon is nice. Level 2 Exorcism is quite literally twice as good as level 1. They could catch Swindle here.
It looks like they will. They've got 4. They picked up 5 coming in. Swindles. Up you go, son. Arteezy with the kill. More money into the bank of the Clinks. Swindles was desperate to try and finish off that tier 2, but on his own, and they were right on top of that. But at the same time, mid lane, you've got Chessie trying to finish off the tier 1. Will do some of the exorcism. Gets the silence onto Universe. Be a little bit careful. The rest of EG coming across the map. Maybe see if they can get anyone here off the back of Complexity's retreat. They'll keep it safe. They keep it cool, and Chessie gets away with that one.
That was a nice trade. The problem that I think that they're running into is the way that you use Exorcism is very important when you're playing Death Prophet. And if you see the way that EG are playing, they're fighting around their ultimates and then they're pushing towers after the fact. Whereas Complexity, they're kind of getting picked. They pop the Death Prophet ult and they are going for towers, but they have it for the team fight. And I really think that if they don't have it for the team fight, then you actually can't even think about trying to 5 versus 5 against EG. It's just way too hard. There's Black Hole, there's Ravage, there's Queen Ulti. Just the sheer amount of damage output and control that they have in a 5 versus 5 is too much to handle.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Queen Ulti. Sumail, he is, of course, going for the Aghanims. He's just 1k gold away from it. And exactly that thing, the team fight timing. The fact that with a 40-second cooldown, you're pretty much able to fight, 2-3 times within the duration of Chessie waiting for Exorcism to come back online each and every time, which is going to be huge in this kind of game.
Yeah, cooldowns are everything when you're playing these types of lineups where if Exorcism is down, team fight is lost. If it's up, you might be able to win. That's pretty much how Complexity have to look at this game. You can't fight around like 2.5-minute ultimates and expect to be able to win the engagement if the enemy team has theirs and you don't have yours. So with that being said, the game is a very different dynamic than Game 1 because Complexity can't just always look for the fight. Like even right now, Universe is farming this bottom lane. And they can't go for him. Like they
can't burst down that, and that's Universe's blink done.
This is the big contrast that we're talking about. It's like Complexity just don't have the team fight control.
Oh, let's see what the call's gonna be. Sounds like a dust was popped there just to see if they could find a random Artoria. Gonna be the case. It's easy. He's on a bit of a mission here, looking to track down Z-Freak. See if he can do anything about this one. He's going to go for it. Eats the Centaur. Going to be enough damage though, Z-Freak with the heal. It's unable quite yet to just sit there and burst down an Enchantress that easy.
It's a little bit of a pain getting through the Ench, but I don't think they're going to be too torn up about it. He's still in a fairly dominant position here in game number 2.
Yes. Got Ravage and Black Hole ready for this push.
I mean, until we see a team fight where Complexity use all of their abilities in conjunction and not just use Death Prophet for a split pusher, we're not going to have a really 100% sure understanding of how difficult the game's going to be for them. But as it stands right now, it ain't looking great.
Top lane Swindles and Sumail giving it a bit of some. Sumail went out with the Sonic Wave, but Swindles just turns around with the Primal Roar. Oh, Sumail blinking out just in time, but talking about blinks, Limp comes in with the Avalanche and Sumail. Oh! He's still alive, gets off the secondary blink. He will escape.
I mean, he's got Aegis anyway, so he doesn't go for that kill unless he has 2 lives.
It's gonna be not easy. He loves this Enchantress. He's always hunting down Z-Freak. He's gonna go for a bit of a tempt here, maybe. He does have fear here as well, and Z-Freak could be in trouble. And the heal, not gonna be enough to save him this time. That's gonna be a dead Ench. RTZ being credited with the kill.
Damage output is insane. Well, that's like having Strafe. It's 130 attack speed. Untouchable, I think, is like 1.
I think it's 130 max.
Yeah, they're both 130, so it completely negates Untouchable, which is quite nice. But still, EG maintain full map control. I still got Aegis up on Sumail if they want to try to push. And go for the tier 1 offlane. It's pretty much a free tower at this point. I don't think there's any reason why Complexity would want to contest a tier 1.
PPD eyeing up Limp, the swap into the stun. Limp will get off the Avalanche, but at the same time, the rest of EG, they pick off the eye on the sidelines because there's going to be no save for Limp. Ravage comes through the universe just in time to stop the TP. They'll take down the Tiny as well.
And do you know how manly you have to be to throw out a Ravage like that?
Yep.
I mean, he already had the TP started. And then
he knew he had it. Universe knew he had it.
He's just like, I got it. No problem. False max range Ravage.
And when Universe says he's got it, he's got it.
Definitely does. This is a very, very tough game for Complexity at this point. It got out of hand pretty early, to be honest. Like, just the simple fact that the rotation early on, they kill Chessie. They were talking about on the couch. It wasn't Fear, though, that rotated. Ended up being Artor just having the disable, and the Clinks is more than enough to kill. Just a Death Prophet.
Top lane Swindles. You're lucky that Universe doesn't have that Ravage, of course, has already used. Chessie's coming in, but EG, they've got a full 5-man. But what the smoke there! Just quickly dispelled, and they jump straight into Chess. They get the swap. They'll be the raw to Universe, but Universe, he's already used the Ravage. They don't need his ultimate that bad. They're going to lose the Death Prophet. Hanskin gets tossed in. Limp! He says, take the IO. We'll give you him as kind of a trade-off if you let the rest of us live. And the rest of them do, but Chessie and Hanskin down for that.
It was a peace offering.
It was, yes.
After game 1, Cole were like, alright, we messed up, we're sorry. Here, take this Wisp. Please leave us alone.
Have this gift, sir.
Yeah. EG though, feeling pretty unstoppable right now. This kind of shows, I think the Complexity had some ideas to try to deal with the Enigma Tide, but they had to have known that EG were running it. Because when we see it earlier on in the tournament and just understanding that Universe and like PPD and Fear play those heroes and they've been known to do it in the past, this is something that you kind of have to be able to see coming, right?
I mean, it is the. And we see one of the other teams, of course, we saw do it a few times was Secret.
Right.
With the Misery, Puppy's done, swap onto Jesse, did get off the Exorcist in the Avalanche, Tots is nice, RTZ falling low, and it'll go down with a black hole from Fear! Fire is being sucked in! Universe comes in with the Anchor Smash, 4 dead, 5 dead! EG cleared up House and Fear, turning up with the biggest black hole yet of this tournament.
Well, if the game wasn't already difficult, that just made it a heck of a lot worse. It was a very, very heavy commitment though. As soon as Jesse gets swapped, Complexity have to go. Especially since the ultimate was popped too, so it's going to be a pretty easy Rax here, 21 minutes in, give or take, for EG. Only 3 kills on the side of Complexity, and I gotta say, if they thought that they had a way of dealing with this type of lineup, this was not the way. I don't know if Z-Freak just couldn't find any opportunities to go for kills, but I think the way that Peter ended up drafting this is he says, all I want to do is make sure that my solo lanes are hard to gank, because then the Enchantress has a really hard time influencing the laning phase in a big way. And since we pick Enigma, we know that we're going to be getting more out of the laning phase so long as every hero stays alive on our team. And just going off of that and the idea that they have insane teamfight potential and a good amount of damage split as well, it's just been a total massacre so far here in Game 2.
It just feels like the Tanio. The great first game, but if there's a team that you're not going to be able to pull the same kind of stuff against twice, it's EG.
Yeah.
Because PPD is, you did that first time, I'll work out what to do the second time.
Why is PPD a 1960s gangster? Why did he turn into that? I don't know,
but this is some gangster stuff right here from EG.
Their adaptation has always been phenomenal, though. I mean, that's one of the things that is a hallmark of EG, is their ability to... I mean, they're literally known for going to the lower bracket, and then going through the lower bracket, and then winning. That's what EG do. So, adaptation, always going to be something on a checklist, if you're talking about this team. So, okay, Complexity just tap out. Personally, I think they only did it because it said 322.
That was a lovely Rapier universe. Do it again with you.
Oh, and it was 322.
322?
Oh, it was 3 to 22.
Oh!
Guarantee you that's why they GG.
No, I'm an idiot. I had a cheeky alt tab to Twitch. I was like, why is everyone saying 322? No one's throwing this one.
No, I mean,
it's the score.
To be perfectly fair though, all joking aside, this game was not close.